Okay, Mel, our listeners who listen to our podcast might actually want a podcast that has helpful tips for how to move through grief. And we have just the thing for them.
A Widowed Mom podcast hosted by Krista St. Germain.
We've had Krista on our podcast, and Krista is a certified life coach and a mom, and she teaches manageable and small steps and techniques to help uncover what's holding you back and show you how to create a future you can actually look forward to. You might not believe it yet, but you can move through your grief and live a life you love.
Krista's podcast is found on every podcast platform, so check it out, The Widowed Mom Podcast. Are you okay, Anita?
Yes. The 16-year-old needs to know how long to cook hash browns.
So they're crispy.
I know. This is the trick, you guys.
Brown on both sides and crispy.
You get the Trader Joe's hash brown patties. They're like the same ones that McDonald's have. And then you put them in the air fryer.
Oh, that's just as well.
That's the best.
I was going to say, are these, he shredded the potatoes and he's cooking them?
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm shredding potatoes and thinking
No.
just a minimum amount of grease and some seasoning. Okay.
Yeah.
They got a starter pack.
This is like, get it out of the freezer, put it in the air fryer.
Aren't the directions
Okay.
on the bag?
Probably. What does that have to do with anything, Mel?
I mean, he could read them.
No, that's not.
Mommy's
Okay.
here. Why would we do that?
Yes. Even if mom wasn't here, he still would
This is
read.
our cooking podcast with Dr. Tina.
Welcome to the podcast. Dr. Tina, what are you a doctor of?
Philosophy.
A
Ooh.
doctor of philosophy. That's
What's your philosophy?
You know, that life is short and you better live it well.
I like it.
okay. Podcast over. We did cooking. We got Tina's philosophy. Where are you recording from? Where do you live, Tina?
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia, which is like 15 minutes from Virginia Beach or Richmond or the Hampton Roads area, maybe something you're more familiar hearing.
Yeah. Are you from there? Did you grow up there?
Oh, no, I'm from Chicago. This many redirects from being on active duty military and different things in life that this is home now.
Okay. So have you bounced around a lot? Have you lived in many places?
So let's count that up. So I left Chicago right out of high school, went to basic training in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Then I went to what is called your T school, your technical training, and that was in Fort Lee, Virginia. Then from there, went to my first duty station, which was Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, where I met my late husband. Then from there, I was in Korea for 18 months, came back to Virginia because, well, Korea is usually a 12-month tour, but I extended another 6 months to be able to have my choice of reassignment. And then I came to what was Fort Eustis, Virginia at that time. Then I left active duty and went into Army Reserves and then a unit in Richmond and stayed there until I retired after 21 years.
What? I'm always curious about this. What took you to the Army? Why did you take that path?
My dad was very determined to reinforce to us at the age of 18 we needed to be independent. There was nothing that I was doing at that point in time that was going to be enough to sustain me, but I had a desire to leave the hometown, see the world, and the thing on the poster board, all those different things. And it served me well. I'm glad that I went into the military. It's where I met my late husband. It's where I literally did understand that the world was bigger than Chicago, where I grew up. And just to meet literally people from all around the world, because basic training, there are people there that have never met. Some people, they got on a bus for the first time. Some people got on a plane because most people live their lives right in a small area of their home base. And I knew there was more to see, and I was excited to do that. And there was a lot of patriotism in our family. My dad had been in the Air Force, and two of his brothers had been in the military, and then generations to generations. So it also was family pride in serving our country.
So your late husband, was he also in the military?
He was. We actually lived on the same floor and sort of like college dorm setup, but it's military and pretty basic. But we were on the third floor and there was literally just a flipping door, males on that side, females on the other. So that was really keeping people separated. Like, No. And so we had some mutual friends and met that way.
Can you tell us his name?
Oh, Mark. Yes. Mark.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you saw Mark from across the mess hall the first time, did you love him immediately, or did it take a little bit more effort on his
So
part?
one, never met him in the mess hall.
Dang it.
Two, the way we met, back to being in these barracks or dorms, one of the guys was, we were watching movies. And now let's be clear, we're talking a VHS inside of
Hmm. Hmm.
sliding in. So we're all piled up in this person's room watching whatever movie, I can't even remember now. And so then I get up to go to the bathroom. The room rotates, the deck shuffles, and now I'm sitting on the bed next to what would be my husband. And he's talking a lot. And I'm like, I'm trying to watch the movie. And he's still talking. And I'm like, okay, so this guy wants to talk. Now, I never planned on dating anybody that was the same height as me. Mark and I were exactly 5'9". I was like, I'm not doing this. I like wearing heels. I'm not. I'm not. And he kept talking. He was like, oh, it looks like you've been working out. You want a massage? I was like, okay. I was like, the massage wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Okay. Still not super interested, but he kept making his presence known. There was one time I had what's called CQ, charge of quarters, where you have to sit down to the entrance of the building, and once it's after hours, people have to sign in or verify that they live there. And so he came straight up to me and stood like right in between. I was like, hmm. He's standing right in between my legs and my legs. I'm sitting in my uniform. He's like, so what are you doing? I was like, I'm on duty. Like, and he just kept like making his presence known. So we finally, a group of us were going out to the movies, and I asked Mark, did he want to go with us? He thought it was he and I going to the movies, and then he didn't realize it was like the same basically group of people that were in that room watching the program. And so we went to go see A Few Good Men. I'll never forget that. And so afterwards, after he's a little disgruntled, he says, do you want to go to get something to eat? We're on base. There's a Pizza Hut. We go there. And so I ride with him because I didn't have a vehicle, but he had this hot red two-seater Fiero. And I was like, oh, fancy pants. Okay. And so we go over to Pizza Hut, and I had never, ever seen anybody eat pizza with a fork and knife. And I was like,
Oh,
right. I was like, that don't even make it seem like pizza gonna taste good. I'm like, I don't even know what we're doing. And I was like, I don't know if I want to date somebody the same height and they cut their pizza with their
Well,
fork and
and I
knife.
have a question about the Pizza Hut too. Was it one that had that glorious salad bar, like an old
Yes.
school one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, this was on base. Oh yeah, with the breadsticks. And yeah. I mean,
yeah.
we don't even say buffet like that anymore. And it's
By the way, guess who else cut his pizza up? My husband, Jason, fork and knife.
and what'd you think about that?
Also thought it was weird, but I love that your deal breakers for him were height and pizza eatering
And
it's
eating.
the
it's
pizza eating
savage.
thing made me question the height thing. I was really like, oh, this was not on my plan.
Hmm.
And so I went to the bathroom. I come back from the bathroom and he's looking at me. I was like, oh, okay, he kind of feeling me. And I get to our booth and he goes, you got toilet paper on the bottom of your shoe. I was like,
Classic.
wonk, 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 wonk. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna have to worry about this. This is over. But he kept pursuing me and I gave in.
Where did he grow up if he was eating with a knife and a fork with this pizza?
Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Smallville.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting. We need to figure out if all the people, my husband also sort of comes from Pennsylvania. So
Do we have a
maybe it's,
pattern?
no, actually, it's because Jason's teeth, he had an open bite. His teeth didn't come together. And so he had a hard time like biting things like pizza. So that's
Okay.
why he cut it up. It was not
Mm.
I
because he
don't
was
think Mark
like
had
fancy.
any dental restrictions. He just didn't want to get his hands messy. But at the same time, this is somebody that would go out into the woods and hunt and stalk a deer and take it apart with his hands. So getting
Yeah.
messy, it must have just been situational.
Yeah, the pizza. I mean,
Yeah,
pizza
that's
versus
gross.
deer guts.
Ew.
I don't know.
I mean, if you could do deer guts, why can't you do pizza? But I don't know.
Exactly.
That does make sense. Do they encourage, discourage, don't care if you date each other in the army?
we were often told you weren't issued a spouse, but if you get one, that's fine. And also, there are a lot of regulations regarding dating someone within the same rank structure. And there are consequences if you, well, I should say back when I was in, long time ago, there may be new requirements now, but if you were dating someone outside of your rank structure or someone that you supervised or someone that you had accountability or responsibility to, that would be a problem.
Right. That makes sense. What was your specialty or job or whatever you call it, and what was Mark's?
Mark was a photographer in the
What?
Army. Yeah. And I was a logistician or in logistics.
Hey guys, just checking in and want to say if you are enjoying this podcast,
And you want to see it keep going, maybe it's helped you through your widowhood journey and you think that it might help others on their widowhood journey, you can support that cause by joining our Patreon.
some of the things that you get as a Patreon beneficiary are ad-free episodes, so you don't have to hear ads like this.
You also get exclusive content, and at a certain level, you might also get an exclusive t-shirt. You can only get that place.
That is true. It's pretty cool. There are 4 different tiers available, so check it out. It's patreon.com/WWDN.
And as an extra bonus, very often you get your names read by one of my kids, and they will do a terrible job with the pronunciation. And that's like a bonus, I think.
I think it's kind of the best. I would much rather hear somebody butcher my name than say it correctly.
A child butcher it than an adult do it correctly. Yep. So go to patreon.com/WWDN to keep our podcast going and support the widowed cause.
Yes! Thanks, guys! Back to our regularly scheduled program.
We have photographers in the Army.
So, Mark's job was under a secret classification
Oh.
because everything that photos are taken. I mean, now let's be clear, we're talking 84. It's not like everybody had a cell phone
Right,
or different
okay.
stuff. I mean, when I met him, he was still developing film, like there was a dark room and he was doing that. So the idea of being able to take pictures wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Okay.
Different timeline, different accessibility. Now, is it such a thing? I want to say no, because at one point when we were dating, his skill set was reclassified, and I'm not sure what it looks like now in the Army.
Okay, so I'm like imagining that it's probably not taking family photos of the people on base.
No,
Okay.
we're
It's more like
talking across wires or lines where people
Yeah.
traditionally would not be going, or training
Sneaky
information
photos.
or different weapons or auto vehicles and things of that nature. No, not family photos.
Okay.
How about aliens? Did he ever get specially
She
assigned to-
can't tell us that.
I know, I just have to ask.
I do not have any words to skip to that. I can neither confirm nor deny. But I do like the X-Files. I do.
So you guys got married. When did you get married and how old were you?
Oh my gosh, like I was 21. And I
Perfect.
know that because I wanted to get, no, I was 22. I'm sorry. It was because we were not that smart. My birthday is May 16th. We got married on May 17th. See a problem there after somebody stops breathing? Yeah, it gets complicated. Like there was quite a bit. I didn't even pay attention to my birthday, but I was 22 and I was like, I feel like he kind of did that low key on purpose because I always wanted to get married when I was 21. For some reason, that just seemed like the perfect age. And then I got married the next day. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, we're here.
So you've gotten married, but you're still in the Army. Take us through kind of your life and what happens next.
Mark was out of the military before me. He had left Honduras, came back to Bloomsburg, was staying with his parents, and he was actually out of the military. I was still on active duty when we got married, and then got out and then finished my undergrad at Christopher Newport University. We had apartment like right next to the college. I mean, talking about just like having no money. Like we were eating on TV trays, like that was the dining room table. We had a mattress and a box spring. We would take turns every week rotating on who would sleep on the box spring or who would sleep on the mattress. So we saved up to buy like a real bed and stuff like that. And then we used our VA loan to purchase our first house in Gloucester, Virginia, which I still own. And that's where our children were born. And Mark went to electrician apprenticeship program, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And that was a changing shift for him now being the full-time breadwinner. And I was staying home with our children. And being an electrician, he's working wherever they're building something. So he would travel a lot. And so I'm traveling with the children to meet up where he's at. And then finally, it just became too much. Felt like he was missing a lot with the kids. So he took a job at a local school district and was there with the children. And actually, when 9/11 happened, he was in New York and was calling me. I was on duty, and his mom was actually at our home with our children. So didn't know if I was going to be extended on duty, how he was going to get from New York back to Pennsylvania, and just a lot of things that a lot of people just discombobulated during that time. And so we have been together 32 years. One of the things that totally
Wow.
surprises me about Mark is he was very much super quiet, and I was the more chatty person. But when I would find out things that he said, I was like, he said that or he did that. And one of the things that he did that still blows me away to this day, I'm at work and family friend says like, hey, where you at? And I'm like, I'm at my desk. And no, I was out walking. He's like, okay, let me know when you come back to your desk. And I'm like, this is so weird. And he worked on the same installation. Well, I finally come to my desk and three men, no, four men are coming with him. And I'm like, what in the strangeness is going on here? My husband has sent a quartet to my office to sing to me for Valentine's. See that look right there? That was, they're singing. And I'm like, my husband?
Do
Like,
you have the right person?
exactly. But I was like, family friend knows who I am. This is the right person. All the women are like, oh my gosh. The installation commander is coming out, and the guys are going, I haven't even brought a card. I got to level up. And I'm just like, and I didn't have a card. I didn't have chocolate. I come home and I'm like, come down to the basement where Mark is, and he's just laughing. He's like, how was your Valentine's? And I was just like, the kids knew. And I was just like, I can't believe this. And so every now and then he would do something just totally, I was like, would not expect that. And life stopped. And I want to say just in just a way I was not prepared for. I had gone through breast cancer. He had been by my side for me, had emergency hysterectomy, and we thought that was going to be our biggest challenge in life. You're thinking, okay, we've gotten through the hard part, and the kids are going to get older. We're going to retire, and we'll send them pictures and wish that they were not here with us and just, pretend and enjoy. And we were now in the process of preparing for the children to leave home. We were looking to come back to the house here in Gloucester. I live in Virginia, to downsize and to reclaim our independence, about to becoming empty nesters because both of the kids were getting ready to go off into the military and we were prepared to slim down. Mark was had already found a job here in Virginia. I was still in Pennsylvania looking for a job, and we got together for a weekend, and he had a major heart attack and died that weekend. Yeah, kind of ruined the weekend. Kind of ruined the week
Yeah.
Mark.
And like all the weekends after too. It was
for quite a bit. And I remember being on the phone, I want to say with my oldest sister going, I love him. Like, how can this be happening to someone I love? And I don't know about you, but I instantly had a Rolodex of all the people who did not like their spouses. I instantly had a Rolodex of all the people, like, they wouldn't even miss them. Like, they are so on the verge of a divorce or something else. I'm like, and this is what we're doing? Okay.
it
Huh.
does make you
Yeah.
wonder. Sometimes you're like, Grim Reaper, did you get confused? Because this was like a good guy. And there's some people who are not nice people. I've had people say that to me before too. They're like, I wish my husband would have died. And I'm like, I do not know how to respond
You're
to
like, you think
that.
that, but you don't actually know what it's like going through it. But I remember thinking of all the terrible people that were causing problems in the world that were alive. And I'm like,
That too. I had that Rolodex too.
couldn't they like be taken? That would be great. Thanks. Oh no, it's the good ones.
How old was Mark and how old were your kids when he passed away?
Mark was 54. Alexander was 19.
Hmm.
And I want to say Catherine was 22 or 23.
Okay. So you've got emerging adults.
Hmm.
And were you the same as your parents and when they were 18 you were like, "Leave."
So I tried that, and Mark was like, "We're not doing that. I need you to bring that in." He's like, "I don't know what type of dysfunctional thing was going on in your household with that, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that." So
Okay.
I did try to repeat. He was like, "What are you saying?" I was like, "Your parents didn't tell you that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "We need you to bring that down."
Right. Right. I have a 19-year-old right now and it's very strange because it's like they're adults in quotations, but they still need a lot of guidance and a lot of help, like to call the dentist. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird world to be like, "Am I in charge of you? I'm not sure I'm in charge of you, but I think you still need me to be a little bit in charge of you." So,
Anita, I need that actually. Can you call the dentist for me? I have
Mel,
problems with the phone. I hate the phone.
I
Can't.
don't like the phone either. I will hold your hand
No,
through the internet
not
and make you call
acceptable.
them. You can do it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Okay, so you have had a sudden death of your spouse, and that's what Anita and I have had. So
Mm.
I know for me, it felt like my brain just was a bunch of jelly for a long time. What was it like for you?
Disbelief. And I knew he died. I know this is what people do. But in my mind, there was a different version of what that would look like. And so I remember getting up every day for like a whole year going, Mark died. Okay, I need you to get that in perspective before you start this day. Because whatever you think you used to do, it now needs to be in the cloak of he is dead. And because I know I didn't want that. I remember getting up one time, just going to the bathroom like in the middle of the night, and I pulled open the top drawer in the bathroom, and all his items were there. And I instantly closed and go, "He'll get that when he comes home." I was like, "We do not have time to be on the crazy bus. I need you to reel in the reality because if you start doing that, this is not going to go well. If you're going to start lying to yourself and doing all these things." And so 2 o'clock in the morning, middle bathroom, I'm now cleaning out his drawer because in my mind, I need to deal with it. Or if not, I will start pretending because I don't want this. And so it was cleaning out the drawer. It was any place where I saw myself not being honest with the reality that I needed to come to that because if not, I didn't know I didn't see that path going well for my mental. I mean, that was me having a mental health, that was me having a therapist, that was me journaling, that was me taking extremely long walks, that was me going to the gym, that was me telling a stranger on the street that my husband died and I needed to talk about it. That was talking to my siblings who were on the West Coast endless amount of hours and time because he died. Like, that's so crazy. Like, what? And I remember looking back on the text thread with my children, the silence, like, I barely had enough to sustain my existence. I didn't have mothering energy. I regret that I didn't, but also I'm glad that they were older. And I know we all get dealt different parts of that, but around, I want to say November, October, I was having the kids for Christmas. I mean, they were grown and doing different things. And just being glad to be able to be with each other and just go, okay, this is our first Christmas without your dad. And this doesn't look like living in the house in Pennsylvania where Mark would take the kids out the night before Christmas to go out into the woods because he was white and that's what a white guy would do with axes. And his two children, his chocolate wife is staying home. I'm like, I'm not going into the woods with an axe. Like that, I've seen that scary story. We don't come
I was gonna
back.
say,
I'm gonna
it
let
sounds like a
you,
murder
Yeah.
situation.
I'm gonna let you and those little bright kids go out into the woods and drag the Christmas tree back, set it up, and do all that stuff. Now it started when they were like babies, like, and he grew. So something about how he did grow up, them thinking that Santa Claus did it the night before. So that meant that when they were smaller, he would go out into the woods, go to the Christmas thing, get the tree in, drag it in, da 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 da, all those things. And then when they got older, he just kept doing that. I was like, yeah, your mom is not doing that.
It's so much work. Like,
Yeah.
why would you do
The
that?
decorating, the all the stuff. You know how
Yes.
tired you are like Christmas Day? You're like, here's those gifts. Go on some.
You knew the minute he took you to Pizza Hut that something was not right in his head. And he's just proven it again and again, it sounds like.
And I have a question too, back to the pizza cutting. And you said I know that he was in New York at the time of the Twin Towers, but I'm sure, I don't know, maybe he was there at other times. Can you imagine him sitting in a pizza place in New York with his silverware cutting pizza? I
No.
would pay to see that
No.
interaction.
I'm thinking he folded that thing up like you do, and then you just eat it like you folded it in half, that triangle,
Yeah.
but I'll never know.
Don't mess with the New Yorkers and how to eat
Exactly.
pizza. Hey, you know what's interesting? You brought up something that caused me to think something. You know how people who don't understand what it's like to be a widow,
Mm.
they like kind of can, to the best of their ability, but then it's almost like they don't understand why it takes us so long to adjust, or there's that old thing of, well, it's been a year, so you should be fine now, right? And something that you said really made me think that it might be a good kind of a topic to give to, we call them muggles, grief muggles that don't get it. And that is, you are still trying to process that he's not here. You don't just, it's just like, for the rest of the world, they're like, oh, so and so died. Okay, so that means Tina's gonna still get up every day and do her things, and it's just, life is the same, just there's a missing person. And it's like, no, because there's a missing person, it takes you a long time to realize, oh, he's not gonna be coming home. And for me, like, my husband died when he was out of town, so I never saw it. And then I was like, oh, he's just like gone on a business trip or something. And it was definitely over a year to where I was actually like, no, he's dead. He's not going to be coming home. So I think that's something that, like, the muggle community of grief doesn't understand about a loss that's so big, like a spouse. It's like the person that you live with, whose toothbrush is in your toothbrush holder, whose clothes are, wherever in the house. It takes a long time for your psyche and your body to get used to the fact that that's not going to be happening anymore.
Absolutely. I think people who have not experienced a profound loss, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you've not had to experience this. But you're right, those muggles can do better because they may have had an uncle, a mom, a sister, a cousin, and you have to start thinking about the unpacking of their lives, the laying in bed in the silence, not being touched, no footsies, no nothing, no dirty clothes, no arguing, no breath stinking, no, I don't like that for dinner. I do. The silence is so loud. Or if you're parenting children and you are stuck with being the good cop and the bad cop and all the different things, maybe they were the lawn person, you were the bill payer. It's instantly all on you. And the brain is still, and we don't do enough to talk about the psychological impact to grief to us, and then the impact to our body in grieving, that most people think like, oh, they're sad and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I often say, if your arm was severed and gone, people would be more sympathetic to your severed arm than hearing, oh, you're a widow. It's like, the person I made love to, the person whose children I bore, the persons who dreams I dreamed for my future have all just been taken away, whether it was over time because they were ill or because they woke up and died that day. Whatever version of life I had ended. And the struggle to figure that out, yeah. Anytime someone said, like, it's been a year, I'm like, and he's still dead. And now, yes,
Yep.
he's still dead. And I think the second year was worse because now the fog for me had lifted. Didn't have the protection of that mental fog. It was like, oh, this is every day. Like, what were we celebrating year one for? Cause I don't know.
How long has it been since Mark died?
This is August 3rd, so March made 9 years. So now going into 10 years,
Okay. So
Okay.
2016?
2017.
2017. Okay.
Okay. Mine happened in 2017 too.
Oh, okay. March 11th is when Mark passed.
Okay. Scott's
So
November.
you go through the first couple of years. It's horrible, I'm sure. Were you Dr. Tina back then, or were you plain Tina?
I was playing Tina then.
Okay.
Or wait,
I
were
just
you
re
retired from the army?
I
Were you a
I
captain?
when Mark passed, I was retired from the Army and I was working as a civil servant for the US government. I was ordained minister, Tina, at that time. And now I know it's not something I talk about a lot because a lot of people are still mad with God and saying, like, I don't need to be like mad at me. That's not my fault. I didn't have anything to do with that. But I know it's important for me as an individual. The nonprofit that I have is not faith-based because meeting people at their pace of need and their grief is what's important, not with a religious title or something like that. When people know you authentically care and love them and supporting them, it doesn't matter about anything else.
I have a question. I actually wanted to ask you this because I was reading your bio. Will you tell us more about being an ordained minister? What does that entail? Is it tied to a certain religion?
So it would depend on what your faith looks like, depending, and so that may come, some places may ordain you based on they feel that there's anointing of God upon your life to share the gospel, to intercede for people and to pray for them. Some people have a requirement to go to seminary to be able to learn the Bible and to be able to do that. Seminary was important to me because I believe that my entire life exists on what my faith is. And if I haven't spent time to study that, what do I really know? And I also encourage people, somebody may be a minister, but this is your own soul. So that is more important than just taking something that rhetoric that someone gives to you. You need to read that word, that Bible, whatever you believe your faith to be, or agnostic, and be certain that you understand that you have a level of peace about your decision, no matter what anybody else may have said. Some people may be brought up in a particular faith and felt like this was the faith I was brought up in, but they may find something that may serve them differently as they grow up. So that idea of being a minister is someone that's saying that I am taking an oath to some extent to be able to stand before God and to be a vessel for God, to be able to use to show love, support, and encouragement to people to be able to understand that God loves them unconditionally. But desiring people to read the Bible for themselves. Because what if I overslept or reading something quick or doing something and you've taken everything based on that? Don't take that lightly because there's a heavy weight in that and wanting to be intentional when I show up in spaces under that title.
Is that part of your nonprofit too?
Nope. This is Tina Personal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there's Tina Person. You are very accomplished. There's so many things about you. With in your ministry, have you come across a lot of people with different religious backgrounds, or how has that gone for you?
So Tina that shows up in Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, the nonprofit, my faith, unless someone asks me, is never part of the conversation
Same.
because I am showing up to serve you. So I'm not important. And that's what we're looking for when we're in acute grief. I think Anita may have mentioned there, I'm not sure if it was Mel, but those people that don't show up for us, I believe it's because too much they're making our grief about them. When they put their feelings on the back burner because they are going home to their spouse or their life is still okay, showing up for us who are in acute grief or have a spouse that's lost, makes them come to terms with the reality that that could be them too. Or if you're lucky, you can do death to you part and you didn't end the divorce. We are the gold. So to be able to show up for people, I'm putting me on the back burner. The me that understands that I can relate to that level of pain is there. But still, I don't know exactly how you're feeling because your grief is unique to you as a unique individual and to the unique relationship you have with your spouse. The concept of it, oh yeah, I get it. But the uniqueness of it takes me listening, takes me being present with you, the person that I'm serving, and making your grief important. If you bring up that faith is a part of your grief, then I'm going to be curious about that and ask questions for that. But I'm not trying to make myself part of it. It's showing up and letting you be comfortable to talk about your grief however you articulate it. If it's anger or whatever it is, or the idea that you want to connect with other widows or widowers, I'm serving you. And that's the way that I show up.
Are you sure you're not a therapist?
Tina, you've done a lot since being widowed, and I was also reading on your site that you have a book.
I do.
And I thought that that was so cool. I was really, I saw the title of it and I thought that is so great. I would like to read it. It looks really interesting. Will you tell us about it?
Oh, wow. So thank you for asking me that. So the Five Widows Club, I think a lot of people find out that they have a story inside of them after having a profound experience. I thought it was going to be cancer for me. But in the serving of people, the podcasting, the I do grief coaching on a very limited basis, but workshops on corporate levels and then workshop for churches about supporting people who are grieving. I started off with the idea, okay, I'm going to write my memoirs. And then I was like, I don't even want to read that right now. Like, I mean, I just didn't, if I wrote something, I wanted to know how I was going to help somebody. And I felt like between all the podcasts and stuff I've done, I've said my story a lot of different times in my own podcast to my community. And so I just kind of petered out. And then I was really, so then I spent like 6 months doing that, and then I changed my mind. And then I was going to write a book on how to support the bereaved or how to support a widow. And 6 months of doing that, I have a lot of information. Then I went to like a bookstore, and those types of books were all in the dusty back, like under psychology. I was like, no one's ever going to read that book. And then I was driving home one day, and the Five Widows Club came into my spirit, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds juicy. This is five women that are made up of thousands of conversations that I've had between podcasting. I do a TikTok live every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and about 400 to 500 people come through the room and different conversations. I know, who would think? And so developing these five women from all of the different conversations I've had. And actually, I was just on the phone last night with one of my cousins, and he is wrapping up the book, and his wife was asking, "What do you think?" He was like, "You need to read it for yourself." I was like, and I was asking him, he said, from his perspective, it's not just women, it's people grieving. He said that he could resonate with the different characters in the book. He could relate to June, who is the guide through the conversation. And this is a conversation or witness these women grieve over 5 years and where that goes in time. So it starts day one when their spouses die. Spoiler alert, their spouses die.
Oh man, the widow's spouse dies. Okay.
Right. And then going forward for that, it has been an Amazon bestseller. There's been really good reviews. Some people have picked it up for their book club and also for different widows retreats. And so I was able to write a book that I believe is doing what I thought the guide would have done, but in stories. We learn better in a story and a widow reading it and saying, "This is me." Like I can relate to that. And I know that the work has been done. So if that widow gives that book to a friend that's been wondering how to show up for them, two of the things I'll share. So In Pennsylvania, we used to have an annual bonfire with our family, and I wove in a bonfire into this story. But our spouse is dying. It feels like everything we knew before burnt up, and we're trying to make this different version of life. And so people want to help us, they just don't always know how. And Carmen's sister, Carmen's one of the widows, she comes home and her home smells clean. Her sister has taken upon herself to pack up all of her husband's belongings and clean up the house and thought that she was doing her a solid.
It's so
Yeah.
hard because it's like people are trying and they're trying to do a nice thing and they don't realize that that's not
Yeah. And how
the
many
way to do
people
it.
has that happened to? So many. You know, it's interesting. It's a little sidetracked, but hopefully not much. I was listening to, it was Rosie O'Donnell actually talking about her mom when her mom had died. And she said that when her mom died of breast cancer, her dad then took the kids away for the summer. They went to Ireland. And when they came back, all of her things were gone. All of them. And I guess the person that cleaned it up was neighbors or something. And it's like been this deep wound for Rosie and her siblings their whole life. The reason that I was like looking at this was because I was looking at something with Barbara Streisand. And the reason that Rosie was so into the Barbara Streisand stuff was because the only thing that the people left of her mother's, which they didn't, if they had known that it was her mother's records, they would have taken it, was Barbara Streisand records. And so while growing up, she would put those on and listen to them. And so would her siblings. And they would be like, well, that's our mom. So they kind of tied Barbara Streisand into her mom. And I was just thinking, wow, like the impact of the death of this man's spouse on the kids, you know, the mother has died. Look at what it's done as far as a lifelong wound and trauma. And of course, Rosie's known for helping others all of the time. But that old school style of just, let's just shut it down, you don't talk about it, it's caused a lot of problems. And I mean, I know it's not generally like that now in the world, but it still happens.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you made me think about when Mark died, and I was hyper focused. My husband died. My husband died. And in the process of relocating, we had officially left the church we were going to, and they had given us matching watches. And Mark's watch was still on the dresser because all his belongings had not been relocated to Virginia. And as we were walking out of the house, my son said, "Can I wear dad's watch?" And I was like, their dad died. I know it sounds crazy thinking about it, but it was just like, they had a good dad. He is no longer here. Mark and I made all the decisions together. I was like, I'm going to have to let them be part of this decision process. So my brother was in Pennsylvania. He's driving us to the funeral home. And I'm looking at these adult children having to now make a decision on the spread for their dad. Us having a conversation together, what his funeral service looked like, knowing that Mark wanted to be cremated and how to honor that. And those kids wanted to stand up by his casket and receive people. And I watched his mom do that with his dad with so disgust. I was like, why would I want to stand 3 feet from my husband's body and talk to strangers? I'm not interested. But my kids wanted to, and I could not let them stand there alone. And I remember my siblings literally, I'm one of five, being so close that if I buckled, they were there to kind of push me back forward because it was hard. And I remember now, Alexander, his body structure is similar to his dad's. So sometimes when I see him wear stuff, I'm like, that's your dad's. And I can just remember like Mark wearing that. And he's just so nonchalant because I make sure they got things of their dad's, caps, hats, whatever they wanted.
Do your kids go out into the wilderness on Christmas Eve and
No.
still chop down a tree?
However, so Catherine made, so no, not yet, but they've not lived in spaces that facilitated that. But in the next couple of years, that may change. So that'll be interesting to see if they do go out into the woods and do that. Because, yeah, I'm not.
Okay, so since your husband died, you've written a book. You became a doctor, which I don't even think we've established when or
Oh,
why you decided to do
November
that.
7th was the ceremony in Chicago, Illinois, 2025,
And then you started a nonprofit. Like,
2022.
yeah, I mean, hello, you've done a lot of things since this. Do you feel like that was, I don't know, there's some people who just feel like their grief needs to be translated into action. Did you
No,
feel that was true
no,
for you? No.
no.
Okay. So why did you accomplish all of this? You're
Yeah.
making us look bad.
So you cannot say that with the amount of people that you guys reach on this podcast. You can no, I'm not gonna let that go.
Okay. This is the therapist, Tina, you know.
No, but the amount of people in your own pain and having a transparent, organic, regular conversation that are people listening to this conversation going, I'm not alone. There are regular, ordinary people making videos, putting content out because you care. You're not so bored that you just don't have anything else to do. You are
It's true.
squeezing in, trying to find out how to stay committed to this. So who are you making look bad? I mean, but I'll
Well,
save that for the conversation on my podcast. I'll just say that and I'll
okay.
answer
Yeah,
the
yeah,
question.
Anita. Thank you,
Sounds
Dr.
good.
Tina. I always chide Anita for saying such things.
But you have accomplished many things.
But
Yes.
I'll go back to your question. I was trying to survive. My husband died. And I often need people to understand I love him now. Like I'm just not out here like, I'm like, he died. We made love the night before, and it was good. And then the next day, he had a major heart attack and died. I was shattered. I was trying to understand, like, who am I? What do I do? What does this look like? There was nothing in me caring about anybody else or their version of life or how it mattered. Zero. The furthest thing from my mind. I remember coming to church one day and one of the ministers going, Oh, Reverend Tim, you're doing good. I said, You do know I'm drinking whiskey sours. You do know that when I get home, I'm going to have a whiskey sour to chill out. And he's looking at me. I said, What do you think is happening? My husband died on vacation. I am reorchestrating everything in my life. I am praying. I am reading the Bible, trying to understand what it says about life after death, reaffirming what I believe to be the truth, and all the other different things, going for walks and reassessing life. I was just trying to live. That was me year one, year two going, okay, I guess we need to start having long-term plans again because I keep waking up every day and looks like we're going to have a future. So we need to do that. And I just started living little by little. I got remarried and not, and but let me be clear, if he's still dead, I'm still Mark Fornwald's widow. So if somebody wants to tell me I'm not his widow, that Chicago girl will fight you for that because I believe that is forever. I am his widow. I still carry my late husband's last name. And my current husband had a cousin who passed, and the widow posted it was his birthday. And I was like, that first birthday after they passed. And her and I eventually talked that evening, way past my bedtime. And as I was getting ready to go to bed, I could just hear what happens when the next person needs to talk. And I was like, well, it ain't gonna be tonight because I'm going to bed. And at the time, my mom had a podcast speaking about what she had learned in 80 years of living. And so, Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, the gateway that people find out about the nonprofit is through content on social media and the podcast. Because as you ladies know, people want to know that they're not alone, but they may not ready for direct engagement. So that conversation leads them to, oh, there's a widow's retreat. Oh, there's a butterfly release. Oh, there is a Children of Widowhood Secret Santa program. Oh, there's this and that. And so that brings them over. And then also allowing them to connect with other podcasts because They may not want to hear me that day, but they need to know that other podcasts exist and different conversations. Unfortunately, there's enough hurting people out here for us to be able to connect and engage with people and let them know they're not alone.
Yeah,
Did you
absolutely.
say that your live events are on TikTok?
Yep. Set on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
That's so great. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know how different it is from Facebook or Instagram. Can do people mostly just write in the comments and you can see?
No, they are in. So just like we're here in this format, this is what a TikTok live would look like. There would be some people in the chat, and then some people, they call it the box, would choose to come up into the box. You can have a total of 10 people, and people are sharing like a dialogue. Like you'll ask a question, other people will answer that, or if they're in the box, are also in the chat and have a conversation. So the engagement is beyond, and the ability to really get to connect and know people. So imagine for 52 weeks you're in someone's live talking to them. Now, the thing about the internet, we're all like, are they real? Are they sketch? Are they pretending? Are they bringing their best face and looking like they're perfect? And it's like you find that out over a while. So I've watched people watch my content and then choose, I want to be in a retreat in that space. The trust is established because you're connecting with people. The engagement and interaction on TikTok is much different than Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. You are literally engaging with people and connecting. We have board members that have come from TikTok, people that manage different programs because of that connection.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
sounds like it's like a Zoom, but it's TikTok.
Thousands of people. So there are trolls. There are people that want to get on because what? There's a room full of hot women that are talking about their spouse died. Hi, I'm single and available. Block, move out of the room. No one wants that.
Oh my gosh. I was going to ask that. Like, how do you ever get people in there who are there to actually be mean?
Oh yeah, and so you have moderators for your room, and the moderator is like, okay, bye, 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 because you can start
Karate
seeing when
chop.
people are.
Mm.
Yeah, that version. Yeah, chop, chop.
Um, can you tell us about well, first of all, what's your TikTok handle? And then where do people find the podcast? And also the your nonprofit, what is it called? It sounds like it's got a lot going on too. So how do people find out what you're offering?
Thank you. And so, as you asked me, why did I forget my TikTok name? I want to say it's Dr. Tina Grief Support. So, if
Okay.
you put in at Dr. Tina Grief Support, you'll find me. The Widowhood Real Talk with Dr. Tina .org, that is our website. And then from there, you can find there's a little location for all the different social media platforms. For me as an individual, for my book and speaking engagements, that's tinafornwald.com. But for the nonprofit, so the social media content and the podcast right now at about 48.9 million views across 140 countries and territories.
Whoa,
I know, right? Like that many hurting people. That's like
that's a
that's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
The second way in which we support people is through resources. That could be like, you know what, talking to you sounds like you probably want to listen to the podcast with Anita or Mel or somebody else, or sending them to Maya Dion of Widows Do Bounce Back, who hosts a weekly grief support group. I do not have the bandwidth for that. Or Emily, Brave Widow, who has another organization pushing people to resources that are available. We provide a book called I Wasn't There to Say Goodbye when people are in acute grief, and send that to them free of charge. Or connecting people with mental health professionals looking for someone that can help them. Some people don't have health care, and being able to have some resources that will do it pro bono. Don't try to run those thin, but I do try to do things that are going to help people. The third way in which we support people through mental health events, because grief is all it's a mind game. And I'm not saying game isn't funny. The grief is in our brain. And because it's in our brain, we look normal on the outside. We look fine. So people go, she good. I ain't gotta worry about her. And crumbling inside. So being able, I'll talk about some of our signature programs, things we do on an annual basis. We have a program called dealing with grief during the holidays and have some mental health professionals host a workshop for 90 minutes into breakout rooms with different topics because somebody going through the holidays and the grief, we're just going to nod our head because it's hot garbage. We have an annual butterfly release ceremony. It is so beautiful to see people opening these envelopes and the butterflies flying out, and we give them a little memo pad to write down something they're feeling or going through, and being able to do that. We host a retreat for widows the first full weekend of December. This year it's in Virginia Beach. It is a 3-story house, I'll just say a mansion. We have somebody preparing, a chef preparing all of our meals, and as the grandmas would say, he easy on the eye. The chef is easy on the eye.
Is he making pizza?
No.
Okay.
He is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are having massages on deck. On in the property, we have a rooftop experience. We're just across the street from the beach. And in Virginia, it does not start feeling like winter till like January, February. So it's still really nice. And there is work that we're going to do. Maya has the program, The Next You Experience, and I'll be speaking about my signature program, Where Grief Gets Stuck, the 5 Survival Patterns. We also have a memorial garden that we're starting here in Norfolk, Virginia. We have one portion of the garden is memorial. The other portion of it will be for food producing garden. Two more things. We have a program annually called Children of Widowhood Secret Santa. And I wanted to do something for children for Christmas. I just didn't know how to do it. And two widows that I met on TikTok both came to me separately and said, "Can I present something to your board to do something for children for Christmas?" Well, I thought they had spoken to each other. They didn't. They both had the idea and right. And then we talked to each other. And what it looks like from June 1st through the 30th, you go to our website and you submit your application. The qualifying factor is one or both of the parents are deceased for the child. And then in October, our website reopens and it will have list of the different families. So to say like family one, family two, family three, you don't know their names, you don't know their anything about them. We keep that anonymous. So let's say you select family one, and then they may have had 2 children. Then you select child one and their Amazon wish list. Each child gets to pick gifts between $1 to $50, and they get 5 gifts. And so our goal is to try to get sponsors, organizations to sponsor one gift, sponsor one child, or sponsor a family. In 2024, we had 7 families. 2025, we had 11. We have 42 applications
Oh no.
for this year. I know. And so I just had a meeting yesterday with the widows about this, and they have to go through the list, vet them, because everyone may not qualify. Some people may have just thrown their information in or throw it there, and they really need to verify that there was a loss and that this is for the child. And then so in October, between October to December 31st, we're pushing it out for people to purchase gifts for the children because grief is also a financial impact. The financial impact, people feel like everybody that's a widow's got this boatload of money and they're just over here, just woo burning up cash. People are trying to figure out how to keep their lights on. They are trying to figure out how to keep hope in their house. So to get people to come alongside of them, because I feel like the bereaved is an underserved community. I mean, I'm a breast cancer survivor. You can find those purple ribbons and we're being acknowledged. You can find stuff for domestic violence. But when you hear about a widow and other stuff, people want to be sad and push us into a corner. They don't want to see that we're living or having a life and need support like other people.
Okay. You guys, number one, sponsor a child. Go to the website and do that. Number two, just go and look at all of these things and maybe something is going to be helpful for you. You're doing a lot and I commend thee, Dr. Tina.
I have a whole board. This is not a Tina thing. Like
Okay.
this, there's
Well,
a board of people
you
doing
guys are
stuff.
doing good work.
Thank you.
And I have a question, moving a little bit away from that, sort of. Can you tell us about your current husband? We need to hear about him. And how did you meet him? Who is he? Go.
His name is Fred, and he is amazing. I must say, when I thought about dating or getting married, I thought it would be like some friendly kind of thing. I was like, how do you go from being with someone for 32 years, chemistry and doing this, and Mr. Number Two? Like, how is that going to work? Like, in my mind, I just didn't get it. And I must say, I am jealous of all the women that had widow's fire. I had widow Dusty. I mean, like, she was like, he's dead and we don't care anymore. And I was like, so you just gonna leave me like that? Like there's nothing. Like she wasn't. I was prepared. Like I was gonna nothing. There was no fire. There was
There were dust bunnies.
literally. I was like, and so I was like, maybe I won't be dating her. I was like maybe this was it. Like that's what I was thinking. And I went to visit a friend, and she had been single her entire life. And I remember putting something down, and then she was rubbed, and I was like, okay, at what point are you going to be like a spinster, or you're not going to be able to cohabitate with someone because you're going to have it all your way? And those were thoughts in my head. And just like, okay, what would I want if I dated again? And it's like, I had a good husband. Am I rolling the dice that this may not happen again? Then I wind up in divorce. Or what if they like die year one? I mean, all these things are going in my mind, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be bothered. And then I was talking to one of the soldiers I used to be in the military with, and he convinced me to go on a dating app, and I did. And I went on a dating app called Zooks. I need so Zoosk, and I would like some type of sponsorship if Zooks ever hears this because we have an amazing dating store I think that will help you. And so Fred and I met. We literally maybe lived 15 minutes from each other, but our lives just were not, they would have never intersected. And so I learned a lot being online dating before, and I was like, we were talking for a couple of days. I was like, okay, can we meet? I don't need to hear you're an Arabian prince from someplace else later. If we're gonna, I need to meet you in person. And I remember meeting him in person, and this version of me is getting somebody taller. I was determined about that. I went with 5'9" Mark, very happy, but this version wears heels, no negotiation. And so I meet him, and I was like, oh. And she said, oh, I was like, oh, we back.
We're back.
I gave him a hug. I was like, oh, he do feel like he been going to the gym like the pictures say. And we sat there and we talked for hours. 8 years later, we don't know what we talked about that day. We do not know. But he instantly felt like home and safe. And I was like, I don't need you to be talking now, girl. Like, you've been quiet this whole time. We have real decisions to make with a real brain now. And I just never thought I could feel that comfortable with someone I just met. That blew me away. Tell me why his middle name is my late husband's first name.
Oh,
Chemistry is important to me. And that chemistry started from that beginning date and still to this day. Sometimes I look at him and I'm just like, this is wow. Like, how did you go from being Mr. Nobody I knew to being one of the most important people in my life?
Yeah.
And having that conversation with my children or siblings or family members and navigating this person into this version of my life and people not thinking, well, I guess she's over Mark. Is he still dead? Still go back to that. Still not over it at all. And one of my coworkers was like, well, when are you going to change your name? I'm like, do what? And it was like, well, you get married. And I was like, I never thought of that. I was like, this could be a game changer. And we're out to eat, getting ready for stuff. And I was like, so what do you think about changing names? And his response was, your children would not have a parent in this world with the same last name. I was like, and that is why I am marrying you. And
Yeah.
then he said, and still, you kind of, oh, that'd be complicated. I was like, did anybody ask you all that? Did anybody, did
You
anybody
should have
ask
just
you?
stopped.
Right, you should just stop with the cute part.
Okay.
But I've done a podcast with him and another gentleman talking about dating and marrying a widow. I hear a lot of people talk about the person I'm dating doesn't want me to mention my spouse, red flag by. Um, or them telling me that I've talked about them enough, red flag by. Like, I don't know any version of my life that I'm not going to particularly mention Mark. I'm not comparing Fred to Mark, but I feel it's very interesting that people are divorced get to talk about their spouse and complain about them and do stuff, or people feeling like it's a competition. They're dead. What is the competition? I don't know. So finding someone that is mature, that is independent, that can see their own self-worth, it just became so easy from the beginning. And it still feels like that now. It has been a gift. But I'm not always talking about that because I know that can also be very difficult for people who are grieving. And I don't know about you, but I've run into different parts of this community like, well, if your spouse, if you've remarried, I don't know why you're still talking to us because he's still dead.
Still dead. Yeah.
Still always be a widow. It will never not have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he is my biggest cheerleader in the work that I do. But at the same time, the day that we have determined is date day and date night, he's like, what are we doing? Like he is, I have I have experienced a total right knee replacement and very minimum availability to leave and do stuff and be okay because my health is important. So he's pretty cool. I would have never thought like to be in love. And I also feel like I'm a better wife to Fred than I was to Mark because I know how fragile life is. I know this could be gone in an instant. Like there are clothes on the floor that I'm not complaining about that I would have complained about for Mark. I literally just moved some pants out the way and just went to the bathroom. I was like, I don't care.
Don't care. You're welcome, Fred. Mark says.
Yeah, because there was some nagging going on. I'd be like, why did you do that? I was like, I don't care.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You are amazing and have given so much, and we are so happy to know you. But we have to end with a really important question, and I'm going to let Mel ask the question.
Dr. Tina, what is your favorite cheese?
I was like, they're not going to ask me the cheese
Oh,
question. I
we're
was
going
like,
to ask
I
you
didn't
the
know if we
cheese
started
question.
with that. I was like,
It's
oh
so
my God.
it's so important that we have to make sure it's at the end.
So it's between cheddar and mozzarella. It depends on what I'm eating.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, they're different
yeah.
different
Yeah.
palettes.
And then you got the Mexican Colby, all that depending on over there. So it's just, but I would default to if I had to put something, cheddar and mozzarella, I could
What
go.
with the cheddar? Are you a mild cheddar gal, or are you like a
Sharp.
medium cheddar? Are you a
See,
sharp,
it
an
depends.
extra
Like if we're
sharp?
doing
Yeah.
grilled cheese with tomatoes or we're doing mac and cheese. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's a really hard question.
It
We're
is.
sorry. Okay.
It's okay, but it's still yummy.
Yes. Agreed. Well, thank you so much for sharing your favorite cheese and the
It's
other stuff.
waiting. I was like, I had to prepare.
The other stuff too. We hope everybody listening has enjoyed hearing Dr. Tina's story. Go check out her TikTok, her book, her nonprofit, her podcast. Did I miss anything?
No, but I will link to all of those in the show notes so you can
Beautiful.
find everything there.
Yes. And if you'd like to keep our podcast going, will you check out our Patreon? It's patreon.com/WWDN.
If you'd like to buy us tacos, go to buymeacoffee.com/widow we do now.
We also want a nice Apple Podcast review, por favor.
Yeah, if you don't like this show, just move
Don't.
along. Move along. It's okay.
But if you do, give us a 5-star. Okay. And now, until we get to talk to you again, I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
Dr. Tina.
We are just two young widows and one widow who is all of those things I just listed: author, pastor, doctor, nonprofit, podcast host, TikToker, and we're all just trying to figure out widow
We
do
now.
Mel, Can you please tell me how you feel about therapy?
I am so grateful for therapy. I do therapy every single week.
Do you think it's a great tool in the widow's toolbox?
I sure do. I think it's a great tool in anybody's toolbox. And I am so glad that I have stuck with it, because as time goes on, there are more things that I am able to learn about myself. That goes for anything from healing from the death of my husband, to childhood things, to trying to get outside and be social, or trying to address my own certain personality. So yeah, it's really been helpful for me.
We have so many people in the Widow Wives Club who have started using BetterHelp and have amazing reviews. It takes away so many of the barriers to getting great therapy.
I know one of the things that's hard for people, and we get this question a lot, it's I need a therapist that does XYZ. Who is a therapist that is going to be widow friendly? And I know that is so hard to find. When I did therapy that was not on this online platform, it was hard. And it's kind of trial and error, kind of like a new medication, honestly, like a new antidepressant. And the way that BetterHelp is set up is it's easy to find somebody that has your specific needs as part of their expertise. And you know what? If you get into a couple sessions with that person and it's not a good fit, it's so easy to change. You can ask some of our friends in the Widow Wives Club. They've changed therapists and gotten one that has been a better fit for them. Well, a lot of them are lucky with who they get first time. I am so grateful for mine. I love her so much, and it's literally changed my life for the better.
This is amazing. So if you guys are wanting to add therapy to your toolbox or need a change in who you're seeing right now, consider checking out BetterHelp. They're one of our sponsors. If you go to trybetterhelp.com/WWDN,
you get 10% off your first month of therapy if you sign up with BetterHelp. And let me tell you, the day that I was in the hospital with my dad when he was dying, I was able to instant message with my therapist, and she checked on me all throughout the week. And I was not available for video sessions for a lot of those times because there were things we were dealing with, like mortuary stuff, and I was still able to be in contact with her. So they're very, very responsive, caring. It's such a great platform, and I recommend it to anybody who is looking for therapy.
Once again, it's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN.
And that's for 10% off your first month of online therapy.
You don't even have to wear pants, Mel.
I know this.
First-hand experience.
You can even wear a onesie.
Or a twosie.
Ooh, scary. All right, bye!